Black women matter. So I'm gonna put
All
that
day,
out
every
there.
day.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
No, no doubt.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Are we ready? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Just Be a Man podcast. I am your host this evening. It is me, Chuck, and I got the usual cast of characters with me. I got my man Wayne.
Yo.
I got my man Mike,
What up?
Stefan,
God is dope.
all day, every day, and we are missing one tonight, Charles, and he may be with us tonight, maybe not. But tonight we have a very special guest, very special guest with us. We have Mr. Denny Brown, the creator of Chase Street on Amazon. Welcome.
Chuck, fellas, thanks for having me.
How you been,
Yes.
man?
All right, hello.
I'm hanging in there, man, despite everything else that everybody else in the world's dealing with. Keeping my sanity, trying to stay busy, and just, happy to be here, with you good brothers.
Well, we're so glad that you took the time to hang
Thank
out
you.
with us, man. And so,
Thank you.
look,
Absolutely.
I'm not even going to beat around the bush, man. I want to, for the people watching, tell them how you got it. Tell us a little bit about Denny Brown.
Well, I mean, if I stay on the topic of just the Chase Street, the whole, how that came to be.
Yeah.
I'm the creator, one of the executive producers of Chase Street. It's a political crime drama that's on Amazon Prime. Uh, um, as a writer, Chase Street came about. I've actually had the basic outline skeleton for about 10 years. My father was involved in the city of Camden. Chase Street is based in the city of Camden, New Jersey. My father was a politician in the city. He was the vice president of the Board of Education. He ran for a county committee. So, I've gotten all those stories. One of my cousins, a cousin of mine was the first Black mayor of Camden, New Jersey. His name is Randy Prime. Rest in peace. So I was around all that. I was around all that as a kid, and got to hear all those stories. I had the benefit of being around them as they were like moving and shaking, and just blending that with the just the people, the stories, just good and bad that came out of the city like Camden, New Jersey that I lived in. It's like many other urban cities in America, big and small. So I was able to take the political side, take the human side, and all those stories from the city and just blend it together. And Chase Street came to life.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I checked it out, and once I started, I couldn't stop. And I mean, it really gave me a sense of what was going on. Well, what was that time period? That was like between. Was that current, or was that?
We blended. A lot of it was ripped from the headlines. Like as shows like Law and Order do.
Got you.
If you watch Law and Order, this story comes from that story that was in the news. So it was so much going on in Camden. We were able to blend some of the things that happened with some of the past mayors. We were able to take that and fictionalize it, rip a little from the headlines, and which really benefited us a lot, into making the story come to life. And as we move into the next season and seasons going forward, there's plenty more that we have to use. So people can look forward to that. But in the meantime, go to Amazon Prime and check out the 6 episodes that we have available to everybody free. If you have Amazon Prime, it's free. And I heard all the ladies have Amazon Prime because they're just constantly shopping there. Yeah, so.
Well, yeah, that's probably why we've got that subscription. I can tell you that over here.
Absolutely.
But Now, let's talk about the cast for a minute, man, because that cast is, I mean, just absolutely fantastic, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got heavy hitters in there, man. I mean, you got
Yeah.
Clifton Powell and Vincent Pastore, and I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
tell you,
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, Clifton Powell, as you said, Vincent Pastore from The Sopranos played
yeah,
Big Pussy from The Sopranos. We have
right,
Terrell
right,
Hicks. Yeah, we have Terrell Hicks who played Jane in The Bronx Tale, and also, well, and she's
Oh,
more
okay.
famously known as Keisha and Belly. All the
okay,
brothers
yeah,
all the brothers remember Keisha. And
mm-hmm.
who else? We have Gilly the Kid, Freeway. Uh, you know, this is a wide range of characters. I know I'm forgetting some, but
Yeah,
my main goal when Chase Street was just beginning to come to life and we were casting was giving a platform to the people of Camden. I mean, there were
mm,
so many people that I grew up with, and just so many awesomely talented folks that just needed a platform to to display these talents to the world. So that was the main goal. My partner and I, Betty Mateo, he was the executive producer. And
okay,
like I said, he put his money where his mouth was, saw what I had on paper, and would have even came to life. But that was our main goal, to give the folks of Camden a platform. And a lot of them just signed so bright, and just the opportunities that they were able to have because they had that platform, getting other roles and things of that nature. That was just, it's really a satisfying feeling for both of us.
Hey, Denny, this is Wayne. I could ask a real quick question. I'm sorry, Chuck. I was just wondering, we're talking about Camden, New Jersey, and, maybe everyone doesn't know exactly where that's at. Like, I know a little bit about it, but I only know about it from the Jersey Turnpike. I just know it's close to Philly, right? So, I mean, maybe you could give people a little bit of an idea where it is.
Yeah, Camden, New Jersey it's in southern Jersey. A lot of folks that aren't from Jersey just assume everything is like North Jersey. But Camden, New Jersey is right across the bridge from Philadelphia. It's a small town of about 80,000 people. It's it's had its issues and its struggles, throughout the 80s and 90s. But right now, Camden is definitely rising. Definitely rising. It's if you want to do any research, for any of the listeners or any of the watchers, just Google Camden, New Jersey, put in Camden Rising, and you'll see how it's growing exponentially, like leaps and bounds, with development and just really some exciting young energetic politicians are just really giving it a big boost. And if you just Google Camden politics, this Camden past politics, we had, unfortunately, there were several mayors, in the past that were indicted. But so it's really, like I said, it's Camden City as a whole, the story is really just, it's like it serves as a fire plug, just of drama that we were able to take and put to use in Chase Street. So just all I can say is just Google Camden, and like I said, you'll be able to read. You'll have some great reads, and you'll see how it's growing and where it's been and where it is now.
Okay. Mike, you have a question?
Yeah, Denny, I got a quick question. What propelled your creativity to keep you from getting caught up in the game out there in Camden? I mean, was it just the political? I mean, was it that your family had its feet in the trenches in in the city, or was it your creativity that said, there's got to be a better way? What route? What made you take that route of creativity and wanting to write?
Yeah, family. I mean, definitely. I mean, family. My mother and my father. I was fortunate enough to, grow up with, in a 2-parent household. My mother was a teacher, and she became a supervisor of technology in the Camden Board of Education. My dad was involved in politics, but my dad was a diehard to this day Pan-Africanist, revolutionary to his heart. So I grew up with Stokely Carmichael staying like weeks at our house.
Wow.
So just that overall influence and that, having like, my fault, sound like I broke up a little bit. Anyway, yeah, but just having that, those positive, positive forces around me at all times, from them, like my family members, and also sports. I was played basketball at Camden High, won a couple state championships. I was like, all state in basketball. And
Okay.
just that a lot of that, kept me on the straight and narrow. But as far as the creative side, I could always had the ability to write. From a young child. And my parents would always stress that to me, like, you need to write more. You need to write more. But I was into basketball. I was a decent student. Took a lot of things for granted when took a lot of things for granted, as far as education goes when I was in high school, because I just, knew that I was going to school free athletically. But the like I said, I took for granted my ability to write because it came so easy. And then, as far as I really started taking it seriously when I created Chase Street, because I think it really, the light bulb went out that this is something that I do well, that came easy to me. And if I could stress to anybody listening that has a gift or an ability to use something, to take full advantage of that. Take full advantage of that as early as possible. But so that's it's really my parents, like I said, them always pushing me in that that positive direction and always being there, and just it's really fortunate in that area. So I had to really give them the credit for that.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Stefan.
Yeah, I got a couple things. First, Wayne, is exit 3 off the Jersey Turnpike. You can't miss it. I know you see that exit.
I know it's at. I just never got off the exit.
Yeah.
I know it's at.
I've gotten off a few times and actually gone to Camden. I had a aunt that lives in Willenboro, so we
really?
always end up
at family. I have a lot of family and friends in Willenboro.
Yeah, so we always ended up there almost every summer, for a couple of days. And here's my question to you, Denny. Camden, as well as Newark, seems to have the bad press. It seems like they're the depressed cities, and and they're looked down on. And although you have the same problems right across the river in Philadelphia and New York, do you think there was media influence or politics influence to kind of depress those areas?
I think the main thing, like, Camden was once like a booming like mini metropolis back in, like, we're talking going back into the after World War II, going into like the early 80s. I mean, industry there was incredible. Yeah, Campbell Soup there, RCA. I mean, the first recording in American history was made in Camden, New Jersey at RCA. So you had all kinds, you had New York shipyard that built the USS Indianapolis. That was the ship that dropped off the atomic bomb. So all that industry was there. Then all at once, it was gone. So, you had a whole city, Camden at its peak back then was probably like 120,000 people. And who knows how many of them were employed by, those companies. So then they were gone. So that's it. You had folks that would just walk out their front doors and walk to a job. Now there's nothing there. So that is when the downfall of Camden happened. Also during, the riots during the 60s, you had, Camden was a majority Caucasian city then. So then you had that, so-called, white flight after that. So everybody left and went to the suburbs and started building up suburbs. So, it's the same, it's the same story. It's not, it's not a story that we haven't heard before. Like so many other, big and small urban towns. You know, that happens. Certain segment leaves during the riots in the 80s. We know, the crack epidemic happened, and it's basically the same old story. So, you know, a lot of it, you know, media has fed off of that, you know, during that time. That definitely plays a big part. But, you know, just the fact that, you know, there was no industry and a big segment of the population left, which, you know, took it from 120,000 people to, like, you know, now it's growing, but we're like at 80,000 now. That, you know, that was a big thing. But Camden right now is, you know, like I said, it's turning things around. It's turning things around. Like the first hotel just went up on the waterfront. That's the first hotel that's been there in 50 years. You know, there's so much development, you know, like I said, exciting young politicians. Like I said before, you know, my best friend is on city council, and several other like young politicians. And like I said, the slogan in Camden now is like Camden Rising. Camden Rising. So that's where it is. And it's good to see that mantra being embraced by, even like you said, the press around around Camden.
So
They're
real quick follow-up question then. You said the first hotel is being built on the waterfront and since the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Do you think Camden's going to start modeling like Brooklyn? Because at one time Brooklyn was pretty rough even around the waterfront. And now they're trying to clean things up. And
Absolutely.
you know, you got whites actually moving into the waterfront extra downtown Brooklyn. So are you all focused in that type of direction?
Yeah, the gentrification is inevitable, especially as you have, like, you know, redevelopment and things, you know, things of that nature going up. That's always gonna come into play. Camden is like I can see Camden in the next 10 years being like the Baltimore, being like downtown Baltimore. You know, we all knew where Baltimore was before all the, you know, the development came. So it's actually, I can see it heading in that direction, and also like the direction of a Jersey City, which is right on the water. Those were like some really depressed, you know, towns. But
absolutely,
we're moving in that direction. Matter of fact, the hotel's open now. It's open now, but you know, it's just like I said, it's really starting to push forward and thrive. You know, you guys come visit one. You know, let's take a tour. Come visit one of these days.
Yep, exit 3.
Yep,
no doubt.
Come on up.
So,
Jump off on exit 3. You know,
so Danny,
take you on a tour.
You live in Camden now? You still live in Camden now?
No, I live right on the outskirts, but I'm here like every day.
Got it.
Every day. I'm thinking about, you know, my son is in the 9th grade. So, you know, I'm gonna let him, you know, finish up, you know, where he's been. He's been, you know, in the town that I lived in since he was in kindergarten. So definitely in the very near future, you know, coming back. But I'm here every day. Matter of fact, I'm in Camden right now.
Okay. So
I'm here right now.
All right, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to ask Chuck, if I could, a real quick question. I mean, just kind of moving back to the entertainment industry. What were some of the biggest obstacles? You said you had this kind of idea for 10 years, and at some point you moved on it. But like, when you decide to make a move on it, what was the biggest obstacle for somebody out there who might, you know, be maybe sitting on a project right now? What's something that they could look out for?
I mean, hopefully they have a bigger budget than we had. You know, even though, you know, taking nothing away from my partner Benny Mateo, who came in and you know, put the money together. But, you know, folks don't understand when you see you know, when you watch, you know, network shows, you know, let's say shows like similar content than ours, like, you know, the Powers and the Snowfalls and those type of shows. You don't understand. They're like $5 million like budget, and that, you know, and that. So that was, you know, budget was definitely an obstacle of ours. Also working with actors that, you know, most came and just believed in the project. They knew, our budget limitations and just working around their schedules. If you're not, like I said, if you're just have folks that have this dream, but they're still, working 9 to 5s and have families and things like that to deal with, you have to work around everybody's schedule. Like, to get these 6 episodes done, we're talking about this was like a 6-year process from beginning to the final wrap. This was 6 years that this took to get done. We shot the pilot episode 1, we shot 3 different times, because the first two, the first one was just so terrible. I was like, there's no way. I mean, just the second one, we had some issues and a lot of us weren't satisfied with it. And there's a lot of things that I won't go into, but there were obstacles that, really almost prevented us from getting this done, period. But even the first episode that you see that's out, episode 1 had issues, and we had to really work to put that together to even make it make sense. So anybody that watches Chase Street, I always say, just get through the first episode and everything will come together. Like all the characters will tie in together. You know what I mean? And I like to tell people that, because like I told my partners when it was done, it definitely has issues. And at the end of the day, we can't expect anybody to give us the benefit of the doubt. They come to be entertained. If there's some sound issues or whatever goes on, that's on us. So I always tell everybody, get through episode 1 and the next 5, everything comes together. And like I said, we're looking forward to starting a new season. We've learned a lot. That's one of the things of going through these, going through what we've gone through the last six years. We learned a hell of a lot. I mean, those are just a few of the issues, a few of the obstacles. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah. Okay.
But those are just a few.
Appreciate that, sir. Now, I guess real quick, I just wondered, so you are filming currently, like you're putting out your next episode, next season, whatever, you working on now?
Not yet, because of COVID, that's definitely been an obstacle. But we have the next episode that we shoot, it'll be a 2-hour introductory episode to season 3. We have it all, it's all written, ready to go. We've casted a few people, and we've linked up with a production company that will actually take the filming and everything to another level. Because that's our thing. We wanted to hook up with a production company that had some experience filming, the sound folks. We just need everything to be as perfect as possible and on another level. So as soon as everything gets back to normal, which is hopefully soon, it looks like things are heading in that direction with the we'll see, with the vaccines and everything. Hopefully things will be back to normal, and we'll be ready to roll and film that 2-hour episode.
Cool. Well, I just want to circle back real quick. One of the things we talked about was the community, and one of the things that I really liked in watching it was that you did focus a lot on the businesses. Me, I'm the business guy. So you focus on the local businesses were represented. How did the community react to Chase Street?
Oh man, they really embraced us, man. Just rap really great, and I would expect nothing less from the the people of Camden. I call that my beloved city of Camden. I've always and from my experience and my family experience, always just been just great folks, and they really opened their homes to us, people, because I definitely wanted that authenticity of the sets. I wanted real lived in homes. People open their homes, open their businesses, just the restaurants served as craft services and fed the actors. Folks really eagerly anticipated seeing Chase Street, because like I said, it was a this is coming out, and man, it ain't coming out. So you had to deal with all that, and I just stood there in frustration because Chase Street really became their baby, like it was ours. With the press, we initially put the initial trail out that got everybody excited, so they were expecting it to come out, and it didn't. And then we had a 3 years ago, we premiered episode 1 at Lowe's Movie Theater in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is right outside of Camden, and we got 3,000 people. Wow. Like the manager, like this came out the same week as Black Panther, and the manager was like, "You guys, you're opening like you crushed." He said, "You guys crushed Black Panther." Like it was like, I mean, Chuck, after this, I'll send you like some of the video footage of the hallway. It looked crazy. It looked insane. It looked insane. So after that, they got episode 1. So everybody was excited after the premiere, and we said the series is coming soon after. So we're talking about 2.5 years after that. So people. I say all that to say that people were the city embraced us. You know what I mean? From City Hall down to the street corner.
That was my next. Well, that was my next question. I mean, I know the city embraced you, the residents, but how did the politicians feel about the light being shined like that on the administration, so to speak?
Yeah, it was just I mean, as far as they really, like I said, they embraced, they embraced it. I mean, we were right in the middle as we were doing this. They were right in the middle of the the Camden Rising campaign. A lot of good things were going on in Camden, and that was kind of like a worry of mine, even though this wasn't Camden had like really stepped away from a lot of the political turmoil of the past. They had stepped away from that. I was kind of concerned that us, like you said, ripping some of the old stuff from the headlines and bringing that into the fray with when I saw some of the city council members and the current mayor Frank Moran, all these guys had nothing but positive things to say. And then like I said, my best friend Victor Carr-Starfin he's on city council now, and when I'm around him and some of his colleagues, it's nothing but love.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Mike, what you got? You got anything for me?
Yeah, Denny, I was gonna say, with the screenwriting and production and all that stuff, how much of that did you have to go and actually take classes, or was this something that you already had under your belt to actually prepare yourself for the business?
Yeah, it's funny. Like my dad was when I was a kid, he dabbled in screenwriting. He wrote a couple of screenplays when I was a kid. So, when I had the benefit of him, at probably like age 12, him giving me like, which at the time was the Bible of screenwriting. It's called Screenplay by Sid Field. So I read that when I was like 12. I mean, along with the natural ability that I had, him giving me that, giving me The Art of Dramatic Writing by Lagos Egri, the Creating Unforgettable Characters by Linda Seeger, several others, several other books, getting all that under my belt from an early age, along with what I already had naturally in my toolbox, helped. It helped a lot. It helped a lot. So, and it's funny, the first time that I ever attempted to write like a screenplay, I think I pulled up an old screenplay. I forgot what it was. It might have been like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, something like that. And I just read the whole thing. And after I read it, it was like I kind of knew an expert, and like an expert now. But something with like writing, just even in that vein, like from screenwriting to even writing an essay or anything like that, I have a natural. I don't want to sound. I hate to sound cocky or anything. I just have a natural ability to do it. I just That's all I can say. That's something I took for granted for a long time.
Right.
I said, wow, really, this
Right.
is easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm glad because, like I said, that was one of the things. I know a few dudes that I knew that had problem with creative writing, whatever. But if you have that ability, I think it's a blessing.
Yeah.
So you got to roll with it.
Hey,
Yeah.
real
But
quick,
thank you.
Yeah.
I got a question from one of the Facebook viewers, and the question was, how did you hook up with the DC homie, Clifton Powell?
Well, my writing partner, and he's a producer on Trade Street. His name is Thomas Freeman. Thomas Freeman Jr. is a great writer. Has written several books. And when he came on to the became a part of the team. He basically helped take things to another level. But basically, he just looked on IMDb and IMDb Pro and looked who Clifton Powell's agent's number was on there. He called her office, and Clifton Powell answered the phone because he happened to be in her office, and the agent was on vacation. And he answered, and he and Thomas had the conversation, and negotiated the terms. And
Stop playing.
yeah, the rest is history. Chris,
That was meant to
Chris
be.
came
That
on
was
and
definitely meant to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, man, it had to be meant to be. That was definitely meant to be.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how that happened. He came to Camden. I think he came about 4 times, and did a great job. He's already, he's a legend. He's definitely a legend, man. But he, his knowledge and his grasp of the craft of acting is just impeccable. And he helped a lot of the folks, and he was impressed by a lot of the folks that didn't have acting resumes, like some of the Camden folks that had a natural ability that we brought on. He was like really impressed. And he's just he's a great guy, man. Cliff's a great guy.
And for those of you that don't know, just some of his Clifton Powell's accolades. Of course, the Friday franchise, Dead Presidents, Minister Society, Norbit. I believe he's in Rush Hour as well. He's in Rush Hour. So I mean, that's big, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. There's one dude we got to talk about.
Yeah.
Jacinto Riddick.
Oh.
Tito.
Yo, I didn't know you even knew. Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I don't like him. I'm telling you right now. If I meet that dude in real life, it's gonna be a problem. That dude, from the time he is that character actor, man. I mean, when he gets into character, man,
it's crazy. It's crazy because his character Tito, what I had in my mind of how I wanted Tito to act, and how I wanted him to be turned up, because what was that? And I don't want to give away a lot of the story. Once you go watch State Street, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the obstacle he had with the Hive character, and I want him to really be mad and turned up. So the first scene that we shot with him was a scene in the pool hall. That was the first one we ever shot. And he came up to me and said, what do you have in mind for the character? So I said, I want you to be, you pissed, you had a couple of drinks, this dude's holding your money. And he said, look, this is how I want to play. I want to kind of play it understated. I know this is not what you have in mind, but just check me out and see where I go with it. And I was like, okay. Once I saw it, I was like blown away. I was blown away. And like you said, he really got into character. You see these guys, he goes into a corner by himself, and he's running the lines by himself, like in a corner, with no script, and it's just a pure pro. And it's really a treat when you see guys like that how serious they are about their craft and how they go about their process, and then what it became. I was just really impressed with him. A couple of characters that folks don't like in Chase Street.
Right, yeah. I'm not gonna go into it. Everybody gotta go watch it. But I see, no doubt. If I see Tito on the block,
yeah, man.
Hey, man. So let's talk about. I do want to talk about one of the the young lady that was the Dominican character or the Dominican family?
Oh,
Because
yeah,
she did a great job also, man.
Shakira,
Was it
yeah.
Shakira? That's it. Shakira.
Shakira Ruiz. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's actually a writer on Chase Street too.
Oh,
She
okay.
wrote this, yeah, we have a team of 4 people, and she's one of the 4 people. And
Okay.
she's like, yeah, Maria was something else. I always wanted to relate it to other shows. I always, wanted, a Gemma from those of you who are familiar with like Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy.
One of those, those type of characters. But she did a fantastic job. She's a, like I said, talented writer as well.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Hey, so Denny,
Stefan.
Denny, this is Stefan again. What are some of your future projects that you're looking at for down the line?
There are a couple. It's actually a sitcom that I have in development. It's about most of the things I do are based in Cam. It's a sitcom. It's about a bar. But actually set. Just think of it as like Sanford and Son meets Cheers. Had that. There's a documentary that we're just getting started on. It's in the infantile stage. But in 1986, when I was a sophomore, my basketball team, Camden High, we were the #1 team in the country at the end of the year. We were like USA Today's #1 team in the country in 1986. That was my sophomore year. And that same year, Louisville won the national championship with 3 guys from Camden High, with Milt Wagner, Billy Thompson, and Kevin Walls. So that same year, from this tiny 9 square mile town, the high school team is the #1 team in the country, and 3 guys from that same high school win the national championship in Louisville. So there's a documentary in which that we're doing that's based on that. So those are just some of the few that that we'll have down the line.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Wayne.
Oh.
I was on mute. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No problem. No, I think it's really good that you were able to join our show here and kind of talk to some of the things that you've done. Obviously, there's people who may have some interest in your work and maybe even trying to go down this path themselves. So is there you talked a little bit about the obstacles, but is there any advice that you would give to just a young person? I think one of our viewers asked what kind of information would you give to a young screenwriter?
Absolutely. When you go down a creative path like this, or a path where there's no set pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. When we all go to school, and I guess a lot of us, when we go into college, go to class, take 15 credits for 4 years, and at the end you graduate. You know what I mean? This path, when you go down this creative path, it's a road that a lot of folks have nothing promised, and there's a road that a lot of folks won't understand. And a lot of folks aren't risk takers. So be prepared for that. Be prepared to just seek validation from within. Don't look for validation outside of yourself, and look for folks to understand what you're doing. Don't be mad from within, and you protect yourself, protect whatever you're doing, whatever your baby is, whatever your project is, and that way you'll just understand and learn that everybody's not going to understand your path and what you do. So my thing is, like I said, just to tie it in, always seek validation from within. Don't seek it from anybody else. And when your successes do come, welcome them back in. Welcome them back in.
All right.
Don't be upset because they didn't support you, or you didn't believe in me when this happened, because that's not for them to believe. That's only for you to believe. So if you just always seek validation from within, understand that it's going to be a lonely road sometimes, and understand the best way to do this most times, if you don't have like a significant other to support you, is to just do it alone. Because some days you might just be able to eat a cheeseburger. So it's easy to eat a cheeseburger. If all you got to do is eat a cheeseburger, if you only have enough money to eat a cheeseburger one day, it's easy to do it and say, but then going to somebody else and looking at your wife and saying, all I got is this cheeseburger. We got to split this cheeseburger. So if you're just eating that by yourself, and walking that road alone, to be prepared to do all that, but just understand, taking a risk and walking this path is like I said, it can be a lonely road, but always seek validation from within.
Hey, Denny,
I like it.
Describe the feeling of you've worked so hard to get this project off the ground. Describe the feeling, getting that call, the validation. I've landed the big fish. We're on Amazon, y'all. I mean, you've worked so hard, and you get that call. Describe that feeling.
Man, it was crazy because you understand, Amazon and a lot of these companies are shorthanded right now. So when we submitted, the project to Amazon and they accepted it, they were like short. You can't even really understand. They told us how shorthanded they are. So something that once it's accepted before the pandemic, which would have probably been on like a week, it took a month for them to actually to actually put it on, and they don't tell you what day it's going to be on. So we're just sitting there waiting week after week, and they said next week. Then a week goes by, where all four of us, me and my three other partners are looking, to see if it's on, and it came on. That was July 3rd at 3:25 a.m. I happened to just go on Amazon and it was on. After like them saying it will be on next week for probably 5 weeks. 5 weeks, they were like, all right, next week it'll be on. Next week it'll be on. And it was finally on. So I was just like, gee, I mean, finally. And like I said, it exploded, like the numbers, when I went on Facebook the next day and my partners went on to let everybody know that it was, finally, they can finally see it. The response was incredible. It was incredible.
I'm sure.
So it was more like a relief. I was more relieved for the people of Camden, more than I was for myself. And I'm like, oh, jeez.
But the validation had to be incredible. The validation just had to be incredible.
Absolutely.
So, hey, Denny, hey, this is Wayne. I have another question. And, you just brought up something there while you're talking about Amazon. So obviously the way that the world is working, streaming is big, right? So that's kind of like the new normal, right? And so
absolutely.
Obviously, when you were putting this project together, was it a streaming service like an Amazon, Netflix that you were looking for, or were you looking for network television, or what was the goal when you put this project together?
Yeah, it was basically like a situation, like a Netflix situation. That was like the I think 6-7 years ago, that was the that was the goal. That was the goal. It was like Netflix or bust. But as we went forward and got with folks in the industry and learned about some of the other avenues that we could take, we were able to broaden our horizons. And like I said, when we started Chase Street, nothing of this content was on TV. This was before Power. I think when we started casting and put the original trailer out, Power came out like the next year. So I would like to think, as far as their content was before they really started opening it up and being open to urban content. Like now it's just all over the place. But back then, I would like to think we were like the awareness of all that, even though, the ones that are, that were out.
So you was ahead of 50 Cent.
No, man, no, don't say no, don't. No, 50, you're back. Nah,
I'm just
you already
saying.
know the last thing you want to do is to piss 50 off.
He'll go online on you in a minute.
Right.
Oh man, that might be a good thing though.
You know.
That's right.
I don't know, 50 don't
You
want
know
no
what they
wreck,
say?
man.
Oh.
I'll bring my DC words out. You don't want no wreck, man.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Mike. Did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna, one more question. I was gonna ask you about, acting and then being in the production side. Do you think it's easier just to stay focused on one, or can a person be a dual input with that? Can they be an actor / writer? Is that harder for them, or is it easier just to stay focused on one thing?
I think that when they can all go hand in hand, it helps because, if you're the creator and, you're putting the words together, putting the dialogue together, that definitely probably serve as an advantage because you know how you want to deliver it, so that makes it easier to convey to the other actors and also, what you want to see through that lens. Because I think every writer, I know as I'm writing, I can visualize what I'm writing as I write, and I can visualize it in my mind. And at the end of the day, that's what you're supposed to be doing because, like you said, this is a medium where you're telling the story with pictures, with film. I like a lot of like writers that I talk to that are just getting started. They get caught up in the dialogue and what they're writing. And I have to say, dude, this is a visual medium. Don't say, oh man, I think I'm gonna go up the street, man, and punch what's the name in his mouth, man, because no, you show them going up the street and punching whoever in the mouth. That's what it is. This is a visual.
Okay.
You're telling stories and pictures. So if you're like an actor who has written the story and also like directing it, that's like, I think that's just a perfect combination.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No
So
problem.
Denny, I got one last question for you.
Okay.
What are your aspirations, man? For some reason, I see you running Camden, man. You gonna run for office?
No, man, no. Whatever Camden was, it was literally like it was really great to campaign. Like I said, with my best friend as he was running for city council. That was his first foray into politics. Period. We jumped in with both feet. We were beating the pavement, and whatever he wants to do.
You're already a veteran. You're already a veteran.
Whatever he wants to do going forward, and whatever his team and the city of Camden needs me to do, I'm the #1 proponent and advocate of Camden Rising.
Fantastic.
So whatever I can do behind the scenes with that, I'm open.
Fantastic.
Hey, Denny, real quick question. Have you sent Senator Booker a tweet saying, hey, we got a show on Amazon Prime talking about Camden, New Jersey?
It's a good idea. I probably need to do that.
Yeah.
He's been to Camden several occasions.
Oh, absolutely.
Several occasions. So yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I might need to reach out to him and do that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Chuck, you're on mute.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I was talking about one of the characters real quick. I wanted to just give him a shout out. And your partner, he was one of the main characters, wasn't he?
Who
Was that?
Oh, Benny, Benny Mateo.
The big guy?
He was yeah.
Yeah.
Richie Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one
Thank you. I'm sorry.
being pulled into the politics. As you can see, a lot of these guys going forward, if turn on Chase Street, you'll see a lot of these guys that have had their they beat the pavement, had their feet and their hands in a lot of the street activity, find their way into the politics.
Well,
Yeah.
was that my man's first time acting? Because I couldn't tell. I mean, I
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Well, hey,
Yeah.
props to him. You tell him
Yeah.
I can sense the conflict in him.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, I saw the whole thing, man. Look,
Yeah.
I'm eagerly awaiting the next season.
Absolutely. Expect bigger and better things with it too. We're
Yeah.
really excited to get started. So
Mhm.
let's pray that this pandemic passes over and we can get started again.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I can imagine that's just put a halt to a lot of things, unfortunately. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Stefan, I'm sorry. You got anything from the Facebook family?
No, Facebook's been quiet tonight. We've got a few watchers, but no, I just want to personally thank you, Denny, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us tonight. I've learned something even more. I mean, I did watch one episode last night. I couldn't figure out how to get to season 1, so I started
Okay.
season 2. So that's my issue, not yours.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but and I concur. Tito was a hot mess. Yeah, you don't mess with Tito.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you don't mess with Tito. Definitely.
Hey, Denny.
The
Hey,
drink
Denny,
either.
you gonna have me? Hey, Denny, you gonna have me go check out Camden because the closest I got to was Weequahic, New Jersey.
No, you gotta come down to Camden, man. You guys come up and visit. I'll take you to Donkey Steaks. I don't know if you guys saw. Well, Donkey Steaks is a cheesesteak place. It's unlike any other
Oh,
steak place in the world. But Anthony Bourdain went there before he passed. And
oh,
said
that's
it's
my
the
man.
best cheesesteak he's ever had.
I love that
So
show, man. That was my
if
man.
you guys
So
get off the
listen,
phone,
I'm all in.
yeah.
Chuck, set it up, Chuck.
Hey, look, if Anthony Bourdain
yeah.
put his stamp on it, I'm there.
Yeah.
Well, the key thing
Chuck,
is,
you guys get off the phone. When you guys get off the phone, Google Anthony Bourdain and Donkey Steaks.
Donkey
Like
steaks.
the donkey steak.
Right.
And then you'll see what I'm talking about.
All right.
Been there
Right.
since 1938.
well, so when
I
you're
sure
ready
will.
to shoot, again, I'm sure Chuck will be in touch with you. We could do a road trip up there.
All right, let
Hey,
me know.
We'll hang out.
I can be an extra.
Right,
Yes, sir. I can be an extra.
We'll make it happen. I'd love to have you guys on set.
All right, now and
Sounds
Wayne
good.
Wayne can show you his terrible jump shot. He's still dreaming.
Really, Steph?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
We don't want to talk about your game, Steph. All right.
Real quick, I just want to point out to those that are watching to please go to our YouTube channel, go to all our social media, make sure that you like and subscribe. That's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We are also on a new site called Verbal. I believe it's spelled VERBL. So Facebook, Verbal, Instagram. We're still on Spreaker. We're on Amazon, TikTok.
Okay, yeah.
I can't even talk tonight.
Google
TikTok.
Podcast. Don't forget about Google Podcast.
Yeah.
Google Podcast. And look, if you got Alexa, all you got to do is say, "Hey Alexa, turn on Just Be a Man podcast." We pop right up. All right. So, hey guys, I'm gonna cut this one a little short. Denny, I really want to thank you for being with us tonight, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you.
Oh, hey, look, I can't thank you enough for coming through. Chase Street is on Amazon Prime right now. Please go. If you don't have a subscription, get you one. Fellas, you are gonna be mad with us if your wife decides to get an Amazon subscription. Build a bridge right now, get over it. All right, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Denny, thank you again so much for joining us on the Just Be a Man podcast. And
yes, sir.
for everybody that's out there that's watching, we appreciate you. And we'll check you out next time. Take care.
All right.
Deuces.
Yes, sir. Thanks, fellas.
All right now.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.